Jim's back.
Jim's back. College football. We've talked about this. Like,
sucks.
He's a big deal for college football as a head coach sport. And it's a big deal for college football. But
he gave him 8 years or 9 years.
No, I know. I'm just saying from a fan standpoint, like you turn on Jim Harbaugh every Saturday, it's a pretty good watch. I'm not going to complain about Harbaugh coming back to the NFL, though.
No, that's a big addition.
The AFC.
I'm glad that he won. I don't think if he would have lost that game, it's just he won it. He can join pretty rarefied air, right? If he ever were to
Switzer,
not just win a championship. The Chargers won a Super Bowl.
I know. In LA. LA's got McVay and Harbaugh now. Herbert.
They got a little. He does have to play Andy and Sean Payton, Dan Antonio,
Raiders.
Telesco.
Well, look at John. Just the AFC right now is ridiculous because now I think they're going to get the most out of Herbert. Plus, look at the AFC Champ game. We just had a mini AFC Champ game between Allen and Mahomes. We got another one, Lamar. All this Burrow was knocked out this year. AFC's crazy. Like one of these guys is just not going to win a Super Bowl in all likelihood in their career, right? Lamar, Josh Allen, Herbert. One of them, Burrow. One of them's not winning a champion. Maybe 2 of them. Maybe 3 of them aren't going to win a Super Bowl.
There are a lot of guys too. Have you noticed that we thought all these guys are going to get head coaching jobs? They're kind of filling up. Like there aren't even that many jobs left. Like it's like, are we going to lose all these coordinators? Like, where are they going? Washington's still open. Atlanta's still open. Am I missing one? Okay, I don't think there's a lot
Seattle.
of jobs. Seattle. But there's like 18 coordinators out there kind of going through the rotation. They all can't get the job.
Right.
A lot of guys going to be returning.
Yeah. Harbaugh back to San Diego, John, where it all started, by the way. 7-4 with the Toreros back in 2004. Only guy.
They're not in San Diego anymore, though.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Still. Sometimes you fly. I wish they were. I wish Jim was in San Diego right now.
He played for the Chargers. I remember being a kid.
Comment, John, RIP Raiders. That is, man, no, man. Over under how many years before the Chargers are back in the AFC Championship game? What do you think?
I would say this isn't a good day for the Raiders, right? If I told you that Seattle had just hired Jim Harbaugh, like that wouldn't be a good thing for the Niners. Like it's not. If you ask Andy Reid and Sean Payton, who would you want the Chargers to hire? It'd be like one of the coordinators.
Think of all the
who would they not want to hire? Harbaugh or Belichick?
Harbaugh, Payton, Andy Reid. All of it's the best coaching. Is it the best coaching division in the NFL?
It's got to be the highest priced one, right? Sean makes 18. I bet Jim's got to be making around the same. And Andy, if he doesn't make 25, he's underpaid at this point. So you just add those 3 guys up, and the $6 million they're giving Antonio Pierce, you probably have the highest paid division in the NFL. I'm kidding. He probably makes 8.
Jim's career record, which includes, of course, like resurrecting Stanford. You think he makes 8?
Who?
Well, who'd you just say? You didn't say Antonio makes 8, did you?
No, I bet Antonio makes 7 or 8 million. I don't.
You think Antonio Pierce is making $8 million? I guess
I don't think there are many head coaches in the NFL that make under 10.
Yeah. Harbaugh's career record, 188. This is NFL and college football combined. 188 and 71. And that includes going to Stanford and having to go 4-8 his first year and 5-7 his second year. So how fast do you think he's in the AFC Championship game? Would you put it, if I said over under 2.5? I mean, when he goes, things turn in a year or 2. So
AFC's hard, right?
AFC's
the
hard.
Ravens are good. The Chiefs are going to actually be better next year, I would imagine. The Bengals, Joe Burrow's healthy. They're going to be good. The Bills ain't going anywhere. The AFC is dramatically harder than the NFC. I get why he took the job, but it is. When people are arguing over the Purdy, Josh Allen, and all the different quote unquote narratives, it is much harder to win games in the AFC playoffs year in, year out. Do you know who Mahomes has beat these last 3 years? The Bengals, the Bills multiple times, and now he's trying to beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. It's fucking hard. You are paying the highest price guy that no one, whenever we're arguing, ever goes, yeah, he's underpaid. It's always like, well, can this guy win the Super Bowl? But it's never like, his contract's too much. Like all these guys have already passed all that, right?
Well, that's what's weird about the AFC for Harbaugh, and I think for the Raiders, but the Raiders aren't in the playoff mix, we don't think. But like Harbaugh's
We
like
don't think? No, they're not.
his team plays in a dome on the West Coast, right? Where everybody else is outdoor on the East. Bengals, Ravens, Bills, and Chiefs are all outdoor Midwest or East Coast teams.
He builds a team, though, that can translate anywhere.
He does. He does. And Herbert's skill set should be able to translate, right?
From the cold
And
weather.
Herbert played in rain and in cold at Oregon. But I mean, I would say it's just his history tells us, and it's kind of Niners-y, right? Where he shows up to a franchise that has a pretty stacked roster, but has not won games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, his history tells us two things. One, he's going to compete for an AFC championship in the next 2 or 3 years. And two, Justin Herbert's career might have just been saved.
I think this job is harder than the Niner job. Better quarterback he inherits, but their roster a lot worse, cap-wise, player-wise.
Well, he inherited the Niner job back when. Remember, somebody told me today, which maybe we've like they were delivering playbooks to players when everyone was locked out. You weren't allowed to have player contact, but somehow Alex Smith was running practices at San Jose State.
If you want to have success in business, sometimes you got to break the rules.
So,
but he inherited Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman.
That's true.
Joe Staley, Frank Gore, Vernon Davis. Like that team had a lot of just young guys that were good. The Chargers have some issues. I think it's fair to say like year one could be rocky for his standards. Like 9-8 feels more realistic than like 14 wins. Would I bet
Chargers
against them?
$46 million over.
They got issues, but it's like the cap. That's so fake.
I will tell you what's cool, Armando. Harbaugh just smacking Herbert's pads before he takes the field. I love that about Jim. Just pounding his guy's shoulders. And this time when he says, like, this guy's great, he said about Alex and J.J. McCarthy. What's he going to say about Justin Herbert, who really is like a tier 1 talent?
Yeah, the same thing he says about everybody.
Can Harbaugh say to his brother, hey, bro, I need McDonald back? Yeah, tough break for John Harbaugh, Middlecoff, who doesn't get to give Jim Harbaugh coaches for just practice. Maybe David
He gave
Shaw
him his defensive coordinator, I would imagine.
No, David Shaw will not be Harbaugh's OC. Those two guys are not working together.
You don't think so?
No, they are not boys.
Is David Shaw a play caller?
He was, yeah.
No, I mean, I know he's done it, but I mean,
oh no, I don't.
Right now?
I don't know. It'd be interesting. I don't think so though. His last few years, he was not calling plays at Stanford, but he was a play caller once upon a time.
When you saw the story, did you see the headline over the last week that like people are interested to make Chip Kelly their offensive coordinator?
I did see that.
My first reaction is, where's this coming from? Who wants this out?
Yeah.
What would Chip want this out? Is like, oh, you guys don't think I'm good enough? He just signed an extension. Is it like legitimate people would want him? Like their offense was horrendous last year.
True. I know he was juggling.
But it's been a while since I think people say like, oh, Chip Kelly's a really innovative offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this, like the guys around the Pac-12, just like other analysts and coaches that I talked to, thought he was doing a good job at UCLA offensively. And then they added the defense last year. Like I think people thought he did a good job with DTR, you know? I saw that. Yeah. My first reaction when I saw that was, does Chip like want to get out of college football right now? Like they're going to the Big Ten. It's going to be pretty brutal for them. NIL, UCLA has none. Like I think
can't afford to keep a defensive coordinator, leaves immediately.
Can't afford to, loses his DC to USC. NIL, like one thing to keep an eye on is Mick Cronin at UCLA. The reason UCLA basketball has a lot of international players on their roster this year, when they turned it over, they're really young. Mick's been really frustrated, is that international players can't make money, NIL money. And UCLA does not have very good collective situation. So they went young because they just don't have the money. You would think UCLA should just be able to go buy a bunch of guys and put together a national championship team. It's not what happened this year. So I wonder if that's a real challenge for Chip. So that was my first thought. Now, I also think back a couple years ago, they them and the athletics department, it felt like wanted to move on from him, but couldn't because his contract had a massive buyout like pre-January. And so it put them behind the 8 ball. So it could come from either side, but that was my first thought was, maybe Chip wants out of college football. That was my first thought.
Same.
Charlie says, who's got it better than us? Nobody. We did it, guys. We did it. We can finally sit at the big kids table. It has got to be a pretty, for Charger fans who are the second class citizen in their own stadium, ninth class citizen in their own town, LA. That is pretty awesome. This guy's going to love being your coach. So congrats.